All right, welcome to Jets Talk. My name's Ryan. I'll be your pilot tonight. I am all sorts of excited to talk to you boys and girls in the chat. We got free agency underway. Jets are making some moves, signing some players. I want to get your thoughts. Grade in the description, in the live chat. We got a poll question going. How would you grade day one of the tampering / free agent period? A, B, C, or D? No fifth category because I can't add a fifth category. But you can let me know if you think it's an F, if that's where you think we are. Jets made a few signings. Started off the day with safety Minkah Fitzpatrick. This one was a trade. Jets trade, what was it, a 6th round pick, I think, to go get Minkah Fitzpatrick. Then they signed him to a 3-year, $40 million deal. So you're talking about $13-ish million per season. I'm totally on board with this. I liked the trade just from using a late round asset to get a really good player that you may not have been able to attract in free agency anyway standpoint. So to be able to get him on what I thought was just going to be a 1-year, $15.6 million deal turns into a 3-year, $13-ish million deal. So as of recording this video, I don't know if we know the structure of the contract yet, but Minkah Fitzpatrick under contract for 3 years. Maybe it's a 1.5 years guaranteed. I would say at least a 2-year kind of commitment is what we're probably looking at. And that's right as rain for me. He's 29 years old? Plenty of tread left on the tires. Are they going to utilize him in the deep ball safety kind of role that he played in Pittsburgh? Or are they going to use him closer to the line of scrimmage the way they utilized him in Miami last year? Obviously, his defensive backs coach is our new DC over here. So a little bit of familiarity, but the Jets probably have their best safety that they've had in the secondary since, probably Marcus May and Jamal Adams, I would think. I mean, Whitehead had a few nice seasons in there. We also add Dan Belton, the safety from the Giants, key special teams player. We got him on a 1-year, $4 million up to $6 million, depending on incentives. Key special teams player, should probably push Malachi Moore a little bit harder, I would think. I do not think the safety room is done. I do think we're done in free agency, but I think we will address it at some point in the draft. It just makes it so you don't have to feel as pressed to do it. Maybe we were thinking like, if we don't get someone signed in here, we might have to utilize the 16th overall pick on, maybe Dylan Thieneman or something along those lines. Now maybe you feel more comfortable waiting till day 2 to address that need. The 2 DNs that we signed. Let's go across the 3 defensive linemen that we signed. Joseph Asai, 3 years, $36 million. Kingsley Enagbare, 1 year, $10 million. And David Onyemata, 1 year, $10.5 million. These are all names that I was not very aware of. I knew Kingsley from his time in the draft. I remember Green Bean really liking him. I was interested in him, I guess. But based on how these guys have performed so far in their careers, you're probably hoping, or at least Asai and Enagbare, those 2 guys are like 25 and 26 were the ages I saw on them. Very much banking on where they're going to be going as opposed to where they currently are. With Onyemata. I think he's 30. Is he 33, 35? He's an older player. Demario Davis, obviously on the older side of things, 36, 37 years old as well. He gets 2 years, $22 million. A lot of us thought we were going to go after Alex Anzalone. He got 2 years, $17 million. Maybe the Jets just didn't feel he was up to snuff. He's 32 years old. Demario Davis, clearly a leader. I don't know if there was some, maybe we didn't think Anzalone was a leader. Why not sign the cheaper guy? I don't know. But we got some guys in here from his Saints time, from Aaron Glenn's time with the Saints, brought them over. So at least some guys are aware of one another. Always helpful for the chemistry side of things. You could tell the Jets definitely focused on the leadership side of free agency and also didn't really blow the cap space all that much. I mean, I would say all these players that I'm looking at, aside from Minkah, I think Minkah's deal is pretty reasonable. All the other contracts are relatively meh deals. We're going to move on from a lot of these guys after one season anyway. Gives you the opportunity to bring in some young, fresh talent without needing to rely on that young, fresh talent right off the bat. And the leadership component is cannot be overstated. You basically added leadership at every level of this defense. From an offensive side of things, the only guy we got back, Andrew Beck, 1 year, $1.5 million. We got to see some crazy banana deals out there, and Jets really kind of held their own. I'm not, claiming these contracts are absolutely astronomically great. I'm not claiming the players are great. I'm not claiming that they're bad. I think they're a bunch of placeholders that allow you to go best player available in the draft. You're hitting all the needs, filling all the holes with somewhat low-priced free agents. I mean, heck, $10 million for Kingsley and David felt like an overpay until I started seeing some of the other crazy contracts that were getting tossed around. The Raiders, for whatever reason, just don't give a damn about cap space. Linderbaum signs like a $27 million a year deal, which is like, I think, $9 million more than the second highest paid center, which bonkers. Still don't have anything on AVT, I believe. I think AVT is still out there. Breece Hall, leaving a little comment at AVT. Fingers crossed that maybe something happens there. The reporting that we're hearing so far is that AVT wants to test the market, wants to go to another team other than the Jets, just kind of see what's out there. The Giants were floated as a rumored team, so maybe he ends up out that way. I'd like to see him back. We lost John Simpson. He goes back to Baltimore, 3 years, $30 million. It's $10 million a year. So interesting to kind of see the moving pieces. Guard is going to be a major need for the New York Jets as it currently stands. Still got to figure out who our quarterback's going to be. Is it going to be Geno Smith or Carson Wentz? Those seem to be the leaders in the clubhouse from all the beat reporters. But man, I'd be lying if I said I'm remotely excited for either one of those guys. If you want to talk to me about like, maybe the Jets take a swing at Kyler, or maybe they take a swing at Kirk, like I would prefer either of those two. If we're going the route of Geno Smith or Carson Wentz, that just screams to me that we are all in on the tank, which blows my mind because that is not where I would think Reich and AG and all these guys would be, considering they may not get to see 2027 unless the directive has come down. Like, we are in great position right now to get Arch Manning number 1 overall. You're coming back no matter what. Like, I don't see that being the case either. I mean, it's a little wacky. I don't really understand what we're going to do at the quarterback position. I don't have a lot of faith in Geno. I know there's some like people that are thinking, he might be, the Raiders were bad. They had a bad offensive line, bad everything. They did, but dude, Geno was hot dog water. Like, I'm sorry if we wind up with him at quarterback, I can't see us winning more than 3 or 4 games. I really can't. Wentz is like in that same ballpark with me. I still think Carr makes, a bunch of sense. Trade for him on like a late round draft pick and rework his contract to whatever it's got to be. I cannot really fathom us going into the season with our plan A and plan B being potentially Carson Wentz and Geno Smith. In a ride or die season, dude, I don't know about it. I'm sure there's some things I'm missing over here, but I want to talk to you guys in the chat. I want to get your reactions, see where you guys are feeling on a lot of this stuff, and where you think we should go from here. What free agents are still out there that you'd like to see the Jets address? Wide receiver-wise, we got to see Pierce get a really big contract from the Colts. I don't think any of us were really expecting that. Whew. All sorts of stuff. Soreless, what's up, dude? Says, based on today's feels like we're drafting offense heavy. I would agree with that. I think that is probably the most likely scenario right now. I think when you sort of consider where the strength, I shouldn't even say where the strength of the draft is. I don't know if I'd say offense heavy. Like, to me, when I look at this crop of free agents, they're not necessarily like long-term staples. And a lot of the draft is revolving around what are you going to be able to get out of these guys in a year's time, like 1 year beyond where the roster currently stands. Remember, you're not drafting, a player to necessarily take the immediate starting spot right off the bat. So maybe they're thinking, hey, 2 years time, in which case you're going BPA in the draft. I really believe that's the direction they're going to end up going. And I'm cool with BPA. BPA just seems to be a smart move. So offense heavy. I still think number 2, I mean, God, it would be awesome if we had the stones to take Sonny Styles at 2. I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's ultimately going to come down to Reese and Bailey still. 16, you're probably in play definitely for wide receiver if one makes it there. As the moves have started to happen in free agency and trades and whatnot, I'm very leery on if wide receiver is going to make it to 16, which brings in the conversation of Brian Thomas Jr. Do you make a trade for him? What is that going to cost? There's going to be multiple teams in on this. His contract would be super favorable. You're talking like $1 or $2 million for the next 2 years, and then his 5th year option, assuming you exercise that. So would I give up 33 or 44 for Brian Thomas Jr.? I would. If you wanted to consider it a conditional 2027 pick, because you don't know where he's going to be. Maybe he's got to outperform certain metrics, and that, all of a sudden ticks higher and higher and higher. That's fine too. I would hope we're kind of in on that. If you're going wide receiver in the second, like if you don't think a receiver is going to make it to you at pick 16, then you're talking about 3 years of 3 years of Brian Thomas Jr. or 4 years of unproven rookie. So in that situation, I will take the Brian Thomas Jr. of it all 10 times out of 10. But aside from that, like, I think guard is going to be a heavy focus for sure in the top 2 rounds as it stands right now. I think quarterback could be an option at, Simpson at 16 potentially. It could be Simpson at 33 if he falls that far. I think those are the 2 positions, quarterback and guard, that you'll see a high focus on, with wide receiver being a little bit of a wild card, depending on what happens with Brian Thomas Jr. If you're going with the draft route, then yeah, it's probably going to be 3 out of 4 guys going on the offensive side of the ball for the first 4 picks. That doesn't mean I can't potentially see safety being selected in the top 2 rounds. That doesn't mean I can't necessarily see edge rusher and linebacker being added in the next 2, like in the first 2 rounds. So I'm not really sure what to make of it. Just go best player available, and I think you are in a really nice spot. What up, Jake? Nice seeing you here. Says, nothing like Ryan on Monday night. Day 1 of free agency, baby. Hell yeah. I'm excited. I'm ready to talk ball with all you cats in there. Duncan says, with all these defensive free agents, is there any universe where we go Tate at 2 and best D-end linebacker safety at 16? Yeah, I mean, I think it's possible. I like Tate a lot. I like him probably the most of the top 3 wide receivers, just because he seems, I would say, like the safest, if that makes any sense. Lemon has grown on me a whole lot. I liked him a lot at 16. I wasn't really considering him at 2. And then Tyson with the injuries just sort of, bothers me a little bit. I don't think we have addressed the edge position strongly enough. So if you like a lot of the edges in this class, then you could forego it at 2, but it's such an important position. Aside from quarterback, getting after the quarterback is easily the most important thing that can be done. If it's not going to be D-end at the top of the draft, like if you're not going Reese or Bailey, I am all on board with Styles at 2. I would much rather Styles at 2, I think, than Tate at 2. I think you just need to build up that leadership side over there. I don't know. I have no idea where this goes. It's interesting to see. I like what we've done so far. I would grade our free agency period as a solid B. Like, I'm not over the top crazy high on any of these particular players, but I think they're doing the right thing, kind of hitting that wave 2, wave 3 of free agency, even though it's day 1 of free agency. But I think they're targeting the right types of players, or the right price points, maybe is the way to do it. Anthony says, still got to go Reese at 2. I would think that's still the leader in the clubhouse. Where the hell is Ryan? Yeah, I was a little late coming on. My bad. Had to make the little graphic on the side. We should get interception this year. Yeah, fingers crossed. Dan Belton had more interceptions than our entire team last year. Chef Muji, let him cook. Like it, Isaac. Mid Flair, what's up, dude? We're probably getting Geno. Man, I really don't want to see Geno Smith. I'm gonna be kind of bummed if that's the swing at quarterback. I guess as a fan, maybe you're a little excited because you're like, oh, we're definitely getting the first overall pick then. But man, I don't know. If you bottom out this season, you got to think Breece at the deadline would get traded. And then, I wouldn't even put it past the Jets of like maybe moving Garrett at the end of the season. If it's been this long and you're kind of resetting everything, I hope that's not the case. But man, I feel like Breece and Garrett would probably lose their marbles if we have another like straight up tank of a season. You got to start winning some games here. Kenneth says Breece needs to stay. I know he's upset, but he will get paid next year. I mean, I hope we pay him this year. I really do. I think there's enough money to go around. I think you know, you can basically lower his cap hit for this season and pay him a little bit more. I would like to sign him to a 3-year deal and make his contract super tradable, like very acquiring team friendly to up his value. You could effectively buy a draft pick if you sign Breece Hall to like a 3-year, $15 million a year with like $20 million guaranteed. Like however you have to structure it, where let's say he gets $20 million in year 1 and his next 2 years might be at like $10 million a pop, or maybe even less than that, where now it's favorable for a team to trade us an asset, where like we would have only been offered a 4th-round pick from the Chiefs this past year because they were thinking, oh, we got to pay him. I'd rather pay Breece now and buy the draft pick later on if needed, or hold on to him long term. I like Breece. I got no issues with holding on to him either. Let Me In says, what's up, Ryan? Are you buying these BS reports that the Jets are out on Derek Carr? I still think he will be our week 1 starting quarterback. I would be very surprised if our plan is to have Geno or Wentz be our starting quarterback for week 1. I do think Carr is coming. I don't buy that it's like, we're not interested or anything like that. I think it could be one of those things later on in the offseason that does happen. I think Simpson is still strongly in play as well as a rookie. I think it's going to be 2 vets and a rookie. Just a matter of, are they going to spend number 16 on Simpson? Are they going to go day 2 with a quarterback? Are they going to go the top of day 3, like round 4 on a quarterback? I just don't know where their head's fully at, because Geno to me just does not scream like attempt at winning. So Let Me In. I have not heard anything as far as the Jets being interested in Carr, but I agree, it does feel a little funky because the way Carr was talking, and it would just surprise me that there would be no interest. Leadership-wise, Davis would be great, but at 37 years old, he's not going to be on the field that much. I think he'll be on the field. I think he was still playing a decent amount this past year. The surprise Falk wasn't signed. Yeah, he wound up going to Baltimore. Not Baltimore, to Atlanta. I've always been one to say, if you don't sign a kicker, you're not planning on, not necessarily sign a kicker. If you're not signing a good kicker or an established kicker, then you're probably not going to win many games. There's a big roll of the die when you're playing with the special team side of the ball. And kicker can win or lose you so many games. I mean, how many games did we lose while we were looking for a kicker before we got Zuerlein? Or even the last year we had Zuerlein where he was missing kicks left and right. Falk won us games last year. Like, in a season you're looking to tank, I don't really hate not taking a swing at kicker. I mean, I still would like to draft a kicker in the 6th round because Dom C is wrong. Got to get that shirt ready for tomorrow. But I do think that not signing Falk is all right if they're anticipating losing games, which I think Muji would prefer to some degree. Tank for Ty. Joe, what are you talking about? He's going to be our starter. Why would you talk falsehoods? Are you talking... Oh. Falk. Or maybe he's talking about the other Falk? Nick Falk is what I thought he was talking about. Tank for Ty. Are you talking about Simpson? I'm confused. AG got enough to work with, so he doesn't get fired now. He just has to win. I don't think he's got enough to work with right now. I think these are just filling in little gaps. Chris, Jets fans, we know Jets are a long way from turning this thing around, but today set a lot of foundational building blocks and needed to be addressed. I give day 1 of free agency a solid across the board B+. Yeah, I think B is fine. Who do we pivot to at guard? I don't know. I'm really not sure. I'm not super confident on anything. I would like to go guard and center at some point in this draft. I think you got to add some young dudes. B2B, Ryan, it's been 2 years since I watched, but I'm back tonight. Dude, I'm glad to have you back. Always nice. Is Clemens gone? Haven't re-signed him, so he gone. Geno sucks. I agree with you, Eddie. Geno is better than what we have. I mean, that is a glass half full take if I've ever seen one. Bourne says overall B+, but compared to last 5 years of the first day of legal tampering, then this is an A++. I don't know if I'd say A++. I think this is what we should be doing. So maybe you're grading it as like a what we think we should do move, which is fine. I guess that maybe I'd consider that. I thought Miami was tanking until they signed Willis, but he may be ending up a backup if they draft a quarterback in 27. I think at the very least, we have lucked out with the Dolphins signing Willis and him probably winning them more games than fans were probably anticipating. At the very least, they got him for, I guess, 2, maybe 3 seasons. And maybe he could still be the bridge for a quarterback they draft next year. Could they take one this year? I would say it's unlikely. But at the very least, it probably moves them out of the Arch Manning conversation. The Raiders are probably going to win at least enough games to get them out of that conversation. I feel like it really comes down to the Jets and Browns. And if the Browns are playing Deshaun Watson and he has any kind of like semi-resurgence, then maybe the Jets are kind of in a one-horse race here. I think Brissett probably stays in Arizona. He could win them some games. I don't know. JFM got 3 years, 63. Yeah, that was a crazy contract. I did not see that one coming. I had him way under market value when I did my mock off season. Douglas says, so regarding Minkah Fitzpatrick, is it a 3-year extension or did they rework his 2026 deal and add 2 more years to that? They redid his deal, so it's a 3-year $40 million deal. He was going to be 1 year, $15.6 million. So this pays him an average of $13 million. I'd imagine he probably drops his base salary for year 1, so it's probably a much lower salary cap hit than the $15 million he was slated to be. And I would think we gave him more guaranteed money. So if he was guaranteed 15.6 for being on the team, maybe we were guaranteeing him 20 or 25 million of the 40 million. Without me looking at it, I don't really know offhand. Jeremiah Love, Ione, trade Breece for a third. I mean, that would be a hell of an offensive maneuver. Just like, hey, we're getting the best offensive weapon in the draft. We're going to get possibly the best offensive lineman in the draft. Now, I don't know if Vega makes it to 16. He may not. Raiders are sitting just in front of us. Where do they feel? Benji, draft Arvell Reese and trade up for Styles, build dominant defense, and then quarterback next year. Let's effing go. I mean, I don't know how high you're going to have to go to get Styles. That's the thing. Like, he may go 4 or 5. And I don't think you're trading up to get him. I think you have to take him at 2 if you want Styles. And then I think you probably have to just draft an edge rusher at 16. There's going to be a few good guys. Like, I do like the top 2 rounds for edge rusher. And if you feel the risk of Reese at 2 turning into an elite edge rusher is too risky, then go with Styles. I truly believe Styles and Love are the 2 best players in this draft. Question. Boss Girl says, if Kyler goes to the Vikings and Rodgers stays with the Steelers, where is Cousin signing? I don't know. This is a very interesting question for me because I feel like there was talk about him possibly staying in Atlanta, but with the signing of Tua for the vet min, there's not really any reason for him to sign there. I would hope Cousins would consider us. I like Cousins of the remaining quarterbacks left. It just doesn't seem like we're connected to him at all. Maybe he could go to Arizona. I guess that's a possibility. You got me. Tank for Ty, tired of Breece. Yeah, I didn't love all his tweeting going back and forth with fans today. He will be traded at some point, I think. Mixed Martial Artist says, ideal world, Reese at 2, Ione at 16. Would be fun. Charles, what's good, dude? Hey, Ryan. So far, I give day one of free agency tampering period a B+. Anyways, I hope you're doing well. Charles, I hope you're doing well, and I can't wait to see you at the Talking Jets draft party. I'm excited, brother, that you got your ticket. Make sure you head over to the description down below. Get yourself a ticket to the Talking Jets draft party, night one of the NFL draft. Myself, O'Leary, and Green Bean with the crowd cam going. We got $25 admission, get you your first drink free. You get a raffle ticket included with that, and $5 well drinks, $5 mixed drinks, $5 well drinks, $5 draft beers, $5 house wines, and 50% off apps all night long. Oh, man. I'm fired up. I'm all sorts of fired up. How can we talk about culture and keep Breece? Because you got to keep your best players. Like, that's just flat out what it is. I think Breece wants to get paid. Is he a little sour? Probably. But if you're a smart GM, I do think signing him to a multi-year deal where we eat most of the financial aspects this year, and it makes it tradable upon, like, the trade deadline and beyond. That would be the best move for the New York Jets. Because I'd rather buy a draft pick than watch Breece just leave on the, after a franchise tag or something like that. Andrew, I'm happy things are actually happening again. Speculation is fun, but after a few weeks, months since Jets season ended in September, of all things not changing, it gets stale. Yeah, look, I'm happy we're chugging along right now. Ryan, why are you so high on Carr? He's no better than Geno. It's not that I'm necessarily higher on Carr. I just watched Geno play last year, and he is clearly dog water right now, where Carr was pretty bad the last time he played, but at least he took a year off and maybe a change of scenery is like different. Hell, I don't know. I think Carr, because of the way he's held himself, both like through his career, he seems like he would be a better bridge quarterback for a young quarterback. Where Geno, I feel like you're just starting him and you don't necessarily have a plan to play him or hold on to him beyond this year, which I guess is fine. I just don't think Geno's the player he was. Coos, Ryan, you doing calls? I'll probably do calls in a little bit. I'm going to try and get through as much of the chat as I can. We got 400 some odd people in here. I appreciate you guys hanging out late night on a Monday to talk some ball. Davis had 137 tackles. Damn! Yeah, I was going to say, I thought he played a lot this past year. Cousin doesn't want to come to the Jets. He would not last in MetLife Stadium. No. Greg the Leg is coming back. I don't think so. Didn't he? I thought he signed with Arizona. How about Darnold? I hear Justin Tucker's free agent. Woof. I would love to use day 3 pick on kicker. There you go, Blitz crew. I'm on that bandwagon as well. Davis played 1,000 snaps last year. There you go. We should draft the place kicker from Michigan. There's a guy, I think it's Trey Smack is his name. Smack's definitely the last name. Florida, maybe, is where he came from. I would like that, because then I could just talk smack all the time. Ryan missed the pilot hat. Don't you worry, my brother. It's just up here. Your boy forgot about it. Sitting up on the light. I'm not looking at the top part too much. Boom! All right. Blitz Crew comes in and says, we should risk missing out on our next Kuntz and use one of those 6th or 7th on a kicker. Blitz Crew preaching to the choir. I will have the shirts made that says Dom was wrong for tomorrow's show, and someone's going to win a shirt. I have to make them up. I haven't sat down and actually made it yet, but I have a good idea. Got some stuff noodling around up here. Let's see, where are we? I'm surprised at AVT. He said he wants to change the scenery. Does that mean Jets or operating room? Ooh, change of scenery and then him potentially going to the Giants would be pretty silly, because it's not much scenery change considering he's just in the locker room across the hallway. Thoughts about our Jets possibly signing an offensive lineman like 𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿 Jenkins from the Packers. He's the center, 2-time Pro Bowler. He has positional versatility and a track record of plus starter play when healthy. Yeah, I'm on board with it. I think we have to add an interior offensive lineman. You got to have a starting guard heading into the draft so you don't feel like you're pressed to just absolutely draft one earlier. So I would like to fill that need somehow. Tanner has to be an option. I can't do a season of Geno and Brissett. Don't y'all want excitement? I think Brissett would be exciting. I don't know if they're going to trade him if they're not getting another bridge quarterback in Arizona. And the same thing with like Tanner. Like, do I see McKee getting moved if the Eagles feel like they're still in a Super Bowl window? Like, Hurts runs a lot. There's entirely a possibility that he gets hurt. So I wouldn't move him for just nothing if I were them. And I don't want to pay as much as I think might be needed to pay to get Tanner McKee. Who has a $100 million dead cap hit the next 2 seasons? Yeah, he does. That sucks. Is it true AVT really said he wants a change of scenery? That's what Asman was saying. That was it Fowler? Someone was saying that he wanted a change of scenery. I'm hoping as it like draws out a little longer and maybe offers aren't rolling in, maybe he considers staying around. Ryan, you think these moves frees us up at 16 to move up in the draft? I feel it gives us more flexibility. I don't think anyone we signed gives us more flexibility to move up or down in the draft necessarily. I think you could just say it allows you to go best player available. I'm open to moving up or down with virtually every pick. Like in my mind, I'd love to maybe slide down a little bit from 2, maybe move up from, well, probably less so moving up from 16 at this point. I think the pick 33 you could move down from. I don't know. I don't think we're going to stay put, though. Any chance Will Levis has a Daniel Jones type leap in a new spot? He fits Reich's prototypical size. I mean, I don't know what you'd have to give up. Probably a late pick. If it's going to be like Geno Smith, then yeah, sure. Geno and Will Levis, why not? I don't know how many games you're going to win on that. Like the whole reason I've kind of been not really against Wentz, not necessarily against Levis, has just been because I don't think that Aaron Glenn's going to win enough games to justify that signing. But it doesn't seem like we're super fucking pressed on trying to win games from a quarterback perspective. So, hell if I know. Oh, now you're speaking my language. Arvell, DeMario, and Sonny. Ooh, that would be lethal. 2 new safeties, then they will probably draft one. I agree. I think they're going to add one in the top 4 rounds. It just makes it so you're not necessarily pressed to take one at any one of the specific spots. Now that the signing of Davis and trade for Minkah basically killed all my hopes of drafting Downs and Styles, I'm assuming we are going to draft Simpson at 2 and Maui Noah at 16. That would suck. I do not want to see Simpson at number 2. I would be so mad. I'd be so mad if we drafted Ty Simpson at 2. As far as Downs and Styles, I mean, I don't think any of these things remove either of those players from our board. I really don't. 2 is clearly Reese or Styles with Davis here for 2 years to mentor how to be a pro. Ryan, on board. I'm on board for Styles, buddy. Dude, I firmly believe Styles is the best player in this draft. And I would definitely take him at 2. I don't think the Jets are going to do it. I think they're going to go Reese, but man, I would be fucking pumped. So pumped if we go Styles at 2. Ryan, if Styles is there at 7, Commanders have old roster and no 2nd or 4th round picks. We'd possibly be able to trade up for picks 44 to pick 7. If they want pick 44 and they're good falling back to pick 16, I am totally on board with that. I would even throw in another pick in 2027 if need be. I don't know if Styles is getting a 7 though. Did the moves today make it more likely that we take Did today's moves make it more likely that at number 2 we take Reese, Bailey, Bain, or an offensive player like Love? I don't think we're gonna pick Love. That would definitely surprise me. I don't think we're going to pick Bain either. I think it's Reese or Bailey or Styles. I think those are the 3 that they've probably narrowed it down to. That's right. Cards just signed Minshew. Not sure Cousins would go there with Brissett and Minshew in the locker room. I think Brissett could still get moved. I think he's still a tradable asset. I don't know if they're just going to roll Brissett and Minshew all year. Do I think Hall's tweets about him being happy on the Jets, spending money? You know what's weird? Like, as bitchy and moany as he's been, Breece Hall got the most of any free agent. We gave him $14.5 million. There's not one player on this list right here that got more than Breece Hall. So why he's bitching up a storm, he can kick rocks. Joe the Jet says Geno, Wentz, and Ty Simpson might be the room in 2026. I agree. I think it could very well be the room. Geno and Wentz doesn't give me any kind of like hope that we're developing a young quarterback well, other than the fact that like, oh, we have two vets in front of them. Like neither player screams Jameis Winston or like Josh McCown like level, or even Andy Dalton. Like I feel like Andy Dalton, like if you go Geno, Andy Dalton, that would be a better quarterback room for a young quarterback, because I think Dalton probably provides more leadership and maturity than either one of the other two guys. I don't know. We'll see. John says, if AVT wants to change the scenery, stay on the field. There's a change. Oh, zing. Where's my button? Where's my button? Hit it. Oh, that's the wrong one. We'll go hit it. Why not? Hit it. Hit it. Oh, man. I like that. I got a good laugh out of that one. Oh, let's go through here. Where else are we talking about? Everyone is so obsessed with premium position, but would love to draft Love, no pun intended. I mean, if you want the best offensive player, Love is hands down that. And Breece may be gone anyway. I would be very surprised to see Love go at the top of the draft for us. Joe Douglas always ignored special teams, linebackers, and safety. I mean, I don't know how much he necessarily didn't care about special teams. I mean, Stiggers is a prime example of a special teams player. We had veteran guys at both punter and kicker. Morstead was solid. Zerline was solid. Yeah, I don't know. I would say I disagree with this comment. Linebackers and safety, you probably got something on that side of things. Piddledy Poo, what's up, dude? Says, don't believe it'll be Reese. Styles at 2, maybe guard or receiver at 16. Oh, don't believe it'll be Reese. He thinks Styles at 2, maybe guard or receiver at 16. If we get Styles at number 2, your boy's going to be so damn pumped. I'm going to lose my marbles. I feel the same way about Styles, the same way I felt about Sauce in that draft. Like, this is a statement player. Like, set the tone for the rest of your team. This is what a Jets player is. And Reese could be a great player. He might be phenomenal, but there's a lot of question marks as to can he make the positional jump as far as that goes. Sonny Styles, like, I have no doubt this dude's going to be an elite level linebacker for a long time. And like, the dude doesn't miss tackles. Like, to me, Styles is like a tone setter for the team. And that's kind of what you do at the top of the draft. I won't hate it if they go Reese. There's just more inherent risk. There's certain players that I fall in love with every year, and Styles for this season is absolutely the player that I just want. Coos, Ryan, doesn't it almost feel David Bailey is less likely now at number 2? Almost feels like Styles or Reese, and with the deals, it feels like McDonald is gone after this season. I don't think any of these deals have shifted us away from Will McDonald, but I do think edge is a major, major need on this team. And we're going to exercise Will McDonald's 5th-year option. I would be shocked if we didn't. So we have him for 2 more seasons. So it's not super critical right now. I would say we're going to need edge early. Like, it's absolutely a first-round need. You could, say top 2 round if you're going like let's say we go Styles at 2. I would go edge rusher at 16. If it's not 16, you have to do a day 2 pick on it. You have to use the second rounder on it. It's too critical of a position not to have it. Yak King signed with a flag team. Did he actually sign somewhere else? I have no idea where Corley is right now. Reese is small as hell and a project. How is he small? He's not small at all. I don't know if Bane's in play for 2. I don't mind Bane. It just feels like the defense is moving a different direction than with him. And then you guys know my feelings on Styles. We signed more expensive versions of McGregor and Clemens. I completely agree, Mike. That's exactly how I felt when I saw these signings, particularly Asai, Kingsley, and David, whatever, however you say that name. I think this felt like paying a premium for veteran leadership more than anything else. It doesn't feel like we necessarily upgraded those positions. It seems like there was a heavy focus on run defense. Like across all these players, they all seem like sure tacklers, which is something we've drastically needed. Like that should help the Jets in and of itself, just being able to stop the run more. What other moves do I think the Jets make? I think guard definitely has to happen. I think quarterback is going to happen. It's just a matter of, who they're going to go with. Maybe a cornerback. Like maybe I see is Lattimore still out there? I think Lattimore's still around. I wouldn't hate that. Hustler says, is there a world where we get Styles and Downs? I think there's definitely a world where that happens. Like if you take Styles at number 2, Downs with this degenerative ACL thing, we saw that happen with Will Johnson last year out of Michigan. He fell to the second round. He was a top 5 pick. He was going to be a top 5 pick. If Downs falls to 16, I have no problem with the Jets taking him at 16. No problem. So can that happen? I think it's entirely possible. I think it's possible Dylan Thieneman from Oregon winds up going higher than Caleb Downs. Hollywood says, trade idea, Breece Hall to Jacksonville for Brian Thomas. Similar player for player deal like they did with Tennessee. I don't think that's how this goes. Breece is not worth what Brian Thomas is worth right now. Like to me, I think Brian Thomas is worth a late 1 or an early 2. I don't think Breece is at that level right now. I think he's a great player, but I don't think he's worth that much in a trade. What is the plan for tomorrow, you think, offensive day? I think it's going to be guard and quarterback are the next 2 dominoes that we have to see fall. Feels like Brissett is the vet bridge to target, especially if it is supposedly only going to take a day 3 pick to acquire him. Familiar with Reich's system, steady baseline at quarterback, and can be long-term backup. Yeah, Brissett would be my number 1 option at quarterback right now. I'm for BPA. If that's Styles or Love, do it. Maybe trade down a few spots to get Love. I don't think you can risk trading down and planning to get either one of those players because I could see either one of Styles or Love go 4 or 5 or 6 or 4, 5, or 7, I think were the spots that I kind of figured they might go. So I think you just have to kind of take them. Mansour Delane, the corner from LSU, might be in play at 16 or perhaps trade. I personally would love this selection because my name is Delaney with a Y after the E. So I would absolutely love to see that. From like a team building perspective, I don't particularly want to go corner, but you could do worse things. There's a tweet saying Brissett is the starting quarterback for the Cardinals. Arizona's not trading him. Yeah, I saw that. I don't know if that's necessarily the be-all, end-all. It's possible. I don't think there's a reason for them to trade him unless they get like a nice return, which is something I said about Tanner McKee and I said about the kid from Chicago. I feel like there's another quarterback we've been talking about backup-wise. Love from New York. What's up, Chippo? Nice to see you in here. Love from New York or love to New York? Talking about draft picks. AVT should sign with Denver. Just get hurt immediately. Imagine Love and Ty Simpson. I don't hate going best offensive player available. Like, offense is just what's going to be winning you games. I just don't want to do Ty Simpson at 2. Ty Simpson at 16, I can live with. Levis should be in consideration with the high floor backup option like Brissett. Yeah, I think if you're rolling with Geno, I don't mind. I'd rather take a roll of the die on Levis competing with Geno than like Wentz and Geno competing against one another, because like neither one could be the guy. I'd rather Levis maybe potentially, have a young option. So you're locked in on Styles at 2? I mean, I love Styles at 2. I don't think the Jets are going to do that, but I like Styles a lot. I think you take the best player, and I firmly believe Styles is the best player in this draft. I think we're going edge rusher, and I'm fine with the position. I think edge rusher is more critical than linebacker, but man, when you have like such a difference maker in Styles, it would just be such a statement pick. Reese has the bigger upside, 100%. I'm not going to dispute that whatsoever. And I'm going to be pumped if they take Reese. I bet on Reese being the #1 overall pick back in October. Unfortunately, the Raiders ended up getting that first overall pick, so the Titans selecting him kind of went out the window. But I do really like Reese. I can understand if you have some hesitation based on like, can he turn into the edge rusher you hope he's going to be, versus maybe the, sure thing in Styles. So I like Styles a lot. I'm happy with either one of them. Why aren't the Jets fans talking about the fact that Colts do not have a quarterback? We keep talking about Lemon and Brian Thomas Jr. BS. Well, the Colts, didn't they signed Daniel Jones, didn't they, to the transition tag? So they just have to match any other team's offer, which I don't think is going to happen, unless I'm wrong on this. But we're hoping they just fucking bottom out and we get a top-end pick from them. I think McCoy will fall like Will Johnson. Do you think we should take him if he's there at 33? I do. If he's there at 33, pull the trigger. I'd rather roll the dice on some crazy high upside guys with our particular position and the amount of assets we have over the next 2 years. So yes, I would say that. If you could tell me we walk away, as much as we want to go offense and receiver and all that crap, like if you're telling me I'm walking out of the first 3 picks, let's say Styles at 2, Downs at 16, and like McCoy at 33, like those are such astronomically high players, like skill-wise, that it's hard to really get upset with that. But like you still got to get receiver, you still got to get guard, you still got to get a quarterback. Like there's so much more we need. But if he makes it to 33, I'm all right with that move. I think he probably have to check out the medicals, like see how he's doing on his pro day, because not playing for over a year is concerning. For the Simpson Truthers, 2 points. Alabama did not want him back. If Dante Moore were to come out tomorrow, Muji would have dashed the pick to the podium. Muji visited Oregon like 5,000 times. Alabama, I guess we don't know. From what we've heard, it doesn't sound like Ty Simpson is in the Jets' plans. That could totally be smoke and mirrors, and the Jets hoping he makes it to 16 or hoping he makes it to 33. Like, you don't want to telegraph what you're going to do. But I agree. I think they were definitely going to pick Moore. I thought that was going to be their selection the whole time, given the amount of times they went out to Oregon to see him. I'm not there on Moore. If he had come out, I would have been kind of disappointed if we made this selection. They're paying a premium because we're the Jets. I agree. Reese has similar measurables to Will McDonald. Does he? No, he's definitely heavier. I think Will McDonald came out of college at like, was he 230 maybe? I think Reese is longer too. Reese just plays way more physical than Will McDonald does. Like Will McDonald's purely a pass rusher, where like Reese is definitely a run stopper. Like his floor is elite level run stopper. His ceiling is like stupid high. Looks like we're mostly on the same page with a B grade for day one. If we secured a quarterback, I think I'd change it to an A. I don't know if there's a quarterback that would have given me like that's an A. If we got Willis, I'd say A+. I don't think there's any other quarterback that we could have added that would have been like, oh, that puts us like above my expectations. Downs or Tate might fall to 16. I think Downs could. I don't think Tate will. It would surprise me if Tate fell that far. Could trade Breece Hall to the Texans for Davis Mills. That would be a kick in the pants. I don't want to do that, like at all. to me, Breece Hall is worth way more than Davis Mills is. And that's me saying, like, I don't believe Breece is worth a whole lot in a trade. Like, you might be talking maybe a third-round pick partway through the season if you get him on a contract extension. Ryan, who will the Jets pick at quarterback in any round? We met with Taylon Green at the Combine. We saw 3 different executives talk to him at the Senior Bowl. That might be the early favorite. I think 𝐂𝐟𝐷 is also in the conversation. Us having Olu, potentially drafting Vega, having Garrett Wilson liking posts from 𝐂𝐟𝐷 is also, kind of interesting. And, I think chemistry goes a long way. I don't know. I don't have a great feel for it. I'd like a high upside guy. Like, to me, I don't really want to spend a top 2 round pick on a quarterback this year. I would rather go, either we figure out a way to get a 3rd round pick and you take your quarterback in the 3rd round, or take one in the 4th. And it's not necessarily a specific player that I'm trying to identify as much as it is like, hey, this position at this particular point in the draft with the upside of the quarterbacks that could be there is what I would prefer to go. So Cole Payton, Taylon Green, Nussmeier, I think will be gone. 𝐂𝐟𝐷's probably gone by the 4th round. Sawyer Robertson could be, talked about. Diego Pavia, for all like the shit he gets, if you get him in the 6th round or something like that, even if he's short, like who cares? Dude's a kind of a gamer, just a bit of an asshole. I don't know. I'm open on which quarterback we go with. I don't particularly want to go high. I would say the betting favorite's got to be Simpson though for the Jets as it stands. Look, I understand all the negativity, but I honestly don't hate the pickups today. Just me, though. I mean, most people, 57% of people are calling it a B. 33% are calling it an A. So you're talking, what is that, 89%? Yeah. No. 90%. 90% of people are saying we got an A or a B for free agent day 1. Free agency day 1. That's wild. Brian Thomas Jr. can't catch. He had a 13.8% drop rate last season. I'd rather see our young receivers develop. Yeah, but it's also like potentially a change of scenery. The biggest red flag for me is that Brian Thomas Jr. would be getting traded away from a coach that is an offensive-minded head coach. And that's concerning to me. But you're gambling on the upside. And you're probably not getting a Brian Thomas Jr. caliber player in the 2nd round. You're hoping you're going to exceed it with a guy that's unproven, and there's an inherent degree of risk. Brian Thomas Jr. at 44 or 444, BPA at 33, Fano or Ione at 16. So let's say it's Styles, or let's call it Reese at 2. You're saying O-line at 16, Brian Thomas Jr. for pick 44, and then BPA at 33. So if we're going guard, edge, receiver, you're probably looking safety, I think, maybe linebacker. I mean, I think guard's going to be a top 2 round need. I agree. Offense at 16, guard or wide receiver. I think that's where they may go. If Vega's gone and the top 3 receivers are gone, I don't know if any of those would be the pick then. I think that's when you start considering Simpson, unless Downs is there, or unless you want to go with like a little bit of a reach on a different player. Yeah, I don't know. Would I trade 44 for Brian Thomas Jr.? I would. This is arguably the deepest off-ball linebacker draft ever. I mean, get the best one. Seth on board with Styles at 2. Doesn't the signing of Demario Davis prevent this from being drafting a Styles at 2? I mean, he's 37 years old. This very well could be just a 1-year contract. I think if you're operating in the vacuum of we need to pick the best players now for this team to win now, then I agree. Styles may not be the selection. Like Reese or Bailey would feel more of a need for the Jets now than a Styles who might take over next year. Who is to say Styles can't be coached to play the edge? Styles' football IQ, athleticism will make him very versatile. I mean, I think he's going to be super versatile. I think it's the bend that people maybe haven't seen from him the same way you may have witnessed it from Reese. But Styles, I think, had better pass rushing stats when he pass rushed than Reese. Someone could fact check me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's accurate. I would target trading down from 33, such a valuable pick, to gain draft capital this year and next. Yeah, 33 to me is the ideal spot to move down because you get a whole day of teams looking at the draft board, trying to figure out who they want to bring in. Is there a guy that they're just coveting that's been sitting there for 12 hours? Like, to me, you move out at 33, you keep a second round pick, and you pick up a third round pick. And that's how you get your that you fill that gap from 44 to 106 or 107, whatever our fourth round pick is. That would make a lot of sense to me. Before we get too much further, I do just want to say thank you to Mando. You are awesome. Use code JETS247 for 20% off and free shipping at shopmando.com. Whole body deodorant, safe to use anywhere on your body. Pits, balls, thigh folds, belly buttons, butt cracks, and feet. Created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. Clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor up to 72 hours. Mando's deodorant product options. You can get the solid stick deodorant formulated and powered by mandelic acid to stop odor before it starts. The spray deodorant is aluminum free and ideal for hard to reach places. All products are baking soda free and paraben free. Choose from a variety of fresh scents like bourbon leather, Cloverwoods, Mount Fuji, or Pro Sport. Clinically proven to control odor better than showering with soap alone. 12 hours after a shower, the average man's Grundle score level was a 5 out of 10. With Mando, the average Grundle odor level is a 0 out of 10. Mando is clinically proven to control odor better than Old Spice. If you want to try America's #1 whole body deodorant formula right now, you can go find them at Walmart or Target and other retailers across the country. For the best deals, go to shopmando.com. Use code JETS247. Get yourself 20% off site-wide and free shipping. Mando, thank you so much for sponsoring the channel. You guys know it. I've been excited about it. The Mando wipes. Keep them in the bag. Keep them next to the desk. They got this cool little peely thing that can go up and down. You can open and close them constantly. I love it. I've been a big fan of Mando. All right, let's jump back into your questions. Will McDonald was an awful pick. He's a good player, but he wasn't a good pick. I agree. Should have been JSN. I did not like Will McDonald at all, and I don't think he's necessarily here for the long term, but I do think he's a part of the plan for this year and probably next year. Thoughts on Taylon Green? I mean, he's an athletic specimen. I don't know how much he knows how to play quarterback, but he is fun. I don't mind a late day 3 pick on him. Every time someone says he's the same size as Will McDonald, it just shows you can't watch film. Reese's strength is remarkable. Literally takes one game to realize he's so much stronger than Will McDonald. Yeah, I mean, it's not even close. What did I say? You just made one of the dumbest points I've ever made. We should trade 33 picks so we can get a 4th. I didn't say that. We said we already have a 4th. I said you trade pick 33 so you can get a 2nd round pick and a 3rd back to bridge the gap between your pick 44 and pick 106 or whatever it is. You're moronic. You debate with Scoop. Shut up. Open your fucking ears. Love you. Outlar in the 4th. He's not going to make it that far. He's going to get taken day 2 or day 3. Rosenblatt just reported all indications suggesting Geno is going to sign here. Yeah, I would say that seems likely after how this day has gone so far. Saunders says, Love, Styles, Downs are my top 3 players. Downs would not be on my list because of the degenerative ACL, but he is on my list at 16. I think Jets should be willing to trade Breece for a needed player of an equal value like a quarterback. I mean, I'm down for doing that. I just don't think a quarterback is going to give you what Breece can. Or I don't think there's a quarterback that would be traded for Breece that can give you what Breece can give you. So I would rather hold on to Breece until you can get like a 3rd round pick. If you could turn Breece and signing his contract into like a 3rd round pick, I'm all about it. Or maybe it's a team that's like desperate need for a running back and his contract was so favorable that he signed with us that like we could get a late second, like hell yeah. But the fact that we could only muster a 4th this past year is a little bit concerning. Saw Pavia at the gym today. Guys, ready? Are you in Vanderbilt or are you just watching like clips of him online? I think Cousins will go to the Colts. Oh, that's a good idea. Cousins to the Colts with Danny Dimes would make a lot of sense. I can't imagine him starting week 1. I guess maybe he's going to. It's a lot of money. Would you trade 16 for Jalen Carter? No, I would not. I think he's a knucklehead, and I don't think we need that. Phenomenal player, and I think he could go to another team, but I don't want to give up 16 for a D tackle because I wouldn't draft a D tackle at 16, like regardless of who it is. That's not the direction I want to see us go. Jets play the Titans, Browns, Raiders, Dolphins twice, and Arizona. That's 6 easy wins. I mean, 6 easy wins, that's feels like it might be a leap because, like, I don't think envision this. Do you think we're going into the Titans game and winning that? Salah in the building, Jermaine in the building, JFM in the building. Like, we know whoever we don't take at 2, Salah's taking at 4, and that person's going to get a sack on us. Like, I'm sorry. I don't think there's any way that the Jets beat the Titans this year. The Browns, sure, maybe Watson gets hurt or Watson isn't playing well. I don't think Deion Sanders is anything special. I think they're beatable. Raiders with Mendoza, he's a rookie, so maybe that's, a bad team. Playing a rookie quarterback just might not be able to do what needs to be done. But man, I would take the Raiders over us right now. Miami twice. Do we see us beating Willis? Like, do we have the horsepower right now to do that? I don't think Miami's any kind of juggernaut by any means, and I think they were definitely considered to be the favorite for the number 1 overall pick up until the Willis pick. But I guess Willis could like fizzle out. He may not be as good as the 6-game sample size we saw or whatever amount of starts he had. Arizona, I don't see us winning that one, but I don't know. I mean, this team was like a quarterback away. And if our quarterback's going to be Geno, I don't think we're getting much better. So I would say those games are the 6 most winnable games. I wouldn't say easy wins by any stretch of the imagination, though. Up for debate. Oh, good brother. Do what's right. Get Jones, Mills, or Brissett. Spend some capital to allow a young quarterback this year or next year to sit a minimum of 10 games. I don't want to trade what's going to be needed to give up to get Jones. They're saying 1st-round pick. I don't want to give up a 2nd-round pick for a quarterback. So, like, if that's where the conversation is, I'm totally out on that. If we trade for Brian Thomas Jr., I'm going to be mad. He has concentration problems and he's scared to get hit. I'll give a day 3 pick. I saw a rumor that like the best pick that was being offered was a 5th rounder, but I'm pretty sure that was like a bullshit account. I would have to think he's going to go for a late 1 or a 2 at the worst. I would do it for 44. I would have no problem giving that up. I would go guard at 16. I would say I'm warming up to it for sure. Wild Chew, talking with Boss Girl, says, I agree. Plus, pick 44 gives you a lot of flexibility in moving around the draft board. First 2 days of draft would be disappointed. I mean, you can still hold on to, like, Brian Thomas Jr. is not costing them a whole lot to hold on to. They can wait until the draft to make a decision. Like, if you don't like any of the players that are available at pick 44 and Brian Thomas Jr. is still on the trade block, like I would make that move. Taylor Green is 6'6", 235. He gains 20 pounds. He can move to tight end. I mean, the guy's absolutely enormous. I think he can be a player, and if you want to take a late day swing on him, I'm fine with that. I don't think you could gamble on him being like your quarterback of the future, but has the boom potential for sure. It depends what camp you fall into. Do you want to go the route of like potential starter, but like a long shot of it? Or do you want to go like, okay, I know this guy's at the bare minimum, like a consistent backup, which is what I think Beck is. I think Carson Beck is like probably at worst a backup, maybe a very bottom tier starter. Like I don't see Beck as a starter personally. Someone will overpay to trade up at 33 might get a third rounder and not have to slide back too far. Yeah, I think that's definitely what would happen. I don't think you move 33 without getting a second and third rounder back at the minimum. I mean, if you can say like, oh, you're going to get a third rounder and a second next year, or something else attractive next year, that's fine. What about Bailey and CJ Allen? I don't hate that. I'm kind of indifferent on Bailey. CJ Allen would have to be 16, I guess. It depends who's there, right? Like there's a few different directions we could go. Like would I take CJ Allen over guard? Would I take CJ Allen over receiver? I think a few things have to happen for me to go Allen at 16. If we lose AVT, we should draft Maui Noah at 16 and move him to left guard. I don't really want to spend 16 on an offensive lineman, but I'm warming up to it. Just kind of frustrating. I have to spend that many firsts on O-line. Andrew said, I said an A overall for today. It is what we need now. Nothing flashy, but we tried that in 23 and it blew up in our face. We are taking the slow and steady approach to the rebuild. Not sexy, but it's all the right way. I think that's a valid argument for giving us an A for today. I don't think it's A in the terms of the quality of players we got or in the financial savviness of the deals, but I think it's the right type of caliber players that you're going for. You're not overpaying. You're not overcommitting. So I would agree with you, Andrew. I think it is a good day one. I can't give it an A. As frustrating, like as weird as that may sound, like I think it's what we needed to do, but it wasn't wow enough for me to get there with the A. Do you think the Jets will make the playoffs before Haley's comment? I think we got 50 years on Haley's comment? Maybe not. Deodorant in the belly button. Well, damn, what the hell's going on with some of you people's bodies? Yo, I don't know, but ever since I became a dad, I started letting the chest hair go. I used to be a Bic kind of guy. Shave it all off. Now that I got hair, I'm catching belly button lint in my belly button. Or I'm catching shirt lint in my belly button. Every day I take my shirt off and there's nice little ball lint in there. My wife thinks it's gross. I think it's funny. My kids think it's funny. And maybe I need to rub deodorant on my belly button. And Mando can do it. Cameron, can we call in? Yeah, let's do some call-ins. I want to, let me just get through a little bit more of the chat and then I'll call in. Let's call it 10:30. I'll go a little bit longer tonight. We'll do maybe 2 hours. Can we do 2 hours? Do I want to do 2 hours? I don't know if I want to do 2 hours. Give me till 10:20. And then we'll do a quick lightning round of call-ins. You want me to send the chicken? Boom! That was for up for debate. Oh no, where'd my timer go? Get the timer out of here. I don't want the timer going. Get that gone, get that gone. Boom. You're crazy if you think Carr is a better option. You lose credibility. I mean, Carr or Geno? I don't know, dude. I mean, Geno's really bad. I don't think Carr is anything great, but I don't think Geno's the answer, my friend. Breece for a 2027 second and give them our 4th. Yeah, I'm down with that. I don't mind doing that. I don't mind giving up a little bit to get a higher pick. Rob says, the first show of yours I watched was when your dog took a shit on the rug. It must have been behind me. That must have been in my apartment, I think. I don't think my dog shit on the rug in a long time. That's very funny, though. Taylor Green completed 198 of 326 passes for 2,700 yards, 19 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions in 12 games. He also added 8 rushing touchdowns while finishing with a 143.15 passer rating. That's an 82.8 QBR. Again, college, vastly different than the NFL. But, man, he would be fun to watch. Devin Lloyd to Carolina. Yeah, I didn't think we were going to be in there. Quay Walker to the Raiders. Yep. I don't think the Manning family would allow Arch to play for the Jets. So Gary Myers has come out and said that Arch wouldn't force his hand away from the Jets, which is the right thing to say right now. I guess, does it actually hold up in the actual situation? Who knows? Arvell Reese, Bailey, or Styles at 2 with Jordan Tyson at 16. And somehow, if Carnell Tate is there at 16, take Tate. So you're saying receiver and edge is basically where I think a lot of us are at right now. We're not losing to the Titans. I would put a solid $5 down on this bet. I don't think we're winning versus the Titans. How about the possibility of the Jets signing a cornerback like Nahshon Wright? He's a ball hawk type player, can create turnovers. I think Marshawn Lattimore is an interesting player. Is he actually... Now I got to pull it up. Is he actually a free agent right now, though? Or does he need to be cut? I know he was there was considerations of him getting cut at one point. So he is a free agent right now. I don't think he's retired, right? No, he's... How old is he? I have no idea how old he is. I think he's 29. 1996. So he'll be 30 in May. Probably not a whole lot of upside at that point, just an extra body there. Do I think the Jets will re-sign AVT? No, I do not. I think he's gone, unfortunately. No way Brian Thomas Jr. goes for a late 1. High 2? I mean, if you could get him for 44, I think I would do that. I feel like the Patriots could offer up their late 1. And it wouldn't be absolutely outrageous. Depends how much they like the receivers that are at the back end of round 1. Jets salary cap space is dwindling. They need $13 million for the draft class. Is it 13? I thought it was a little bit higher than that, but I get what you're saying. Draft order and rookie pool. So the Jets need $16 million for their draft class. Maybe that's a little less because maybe they didn't update it with the Minkah trade, but that would have been a very low end deal from the 7th round. But yeah, I haven't seen the updated salary cap space for the Jets. Let's see what they... Right now, Over the Cap has us listed at... Come on. So it's not going to be accurate yet because it still has Minkah Fitzpatrick on a $15.6 million deal, which we know isn't right. So that's going to be a cap savings. If they re-sign Breece in any capacity, that would be a cap savings. As of right now, it says $52 million, but I think we're probably higher than that. We're probably sitting at $6 million, $60 million if I had to guess. Less the 16 you need for the draft class. Titans signing everyone. Yeah, all the New York players. It's oh man, the Jets and Giants haven't won many games the last few years. We're going to sign all those players. It's a kick in the pants if they start winning then. couple of those contracts are 10 or 20 mil contracts, only 1-year deals, so kind of handcuffs us this year, but gives us decent players. We don't know that. They could be void years added on there. So it's not necessarily all guaranteed money, so the cap hit could look a little different depending on, maybe playing time or triggers built inside those contracts. Is Field designated as a cut yet? Quarterback pool is so bleak, I see him staying. I would be surprised. I don't think he's going to be on this team. I'd rather go after Winston instead of Geno. Yeah, but Giants aren't going to trade him, so there's that. I'd rather go for Drew Allar or Jack Strand for quarterback. I have not watched Strand. Allar, though, at least is an interesting swing. Quarterback in this draft are slim pickings: Mendoza, Allar, Strand. Everybody else got weakness that can be exploited in the NFL draft class, or in this quarterback draft class. Sucks. I don't know. I'm really keeping an eye on 2027. I'm cool with a mid-round swing, high upside, high volatility type players. Muji didn't sign any long contracts just in case Glenn shits the bed. Yeah, that's probably right. Beefy saying he's undersized, Reese, and Nick laughing at him. Absolutely not undersized. How much would Chubb ask to become a Jet? That would guarantee Styles in the draft. I mean, I don't know. I'll be honest, I did not watch much Chubb to know if he was rebounded from his injury. Arch 27, that's what it feels like. Allar is a first-round talent. Jets fans love to evaluate me to bias and college wins-loss, but say college is different. It's contradiction. Have you watched Allar? There's some wow throws and whatnot, but, the best thing you could say for Allar is that you kind of hope that Franklin sucked as a head coach, and that held him back. His offensive coordinator sucked, and that held him back. Not many outside wide receiver options, and that held him back. Lost Tyler Warren to the NFL, and that held him back. Outside of that, Allar looked very underwhelming this year. Dom saying, looks like Tarzan, plays like Jane, and I think it fits Allar to a T. I'm hoping my quarterback analysis is wildly off, and maybe he's a guy, but I don't know. He did not. He looked like he always made the wrong decision in crunch time. He just doesn't have a clutch gene. But that could just be a bias in me. I don't know. I was really looking to want to like him, and I just didn't come away impressed. So Moore and Chambliss would rather cut their nuts off than come to the Jets, but Arch, hell yeah. I think Chambliss was never going to make the same amount of money that he would make in college. If he's making $6 million or $7 million on his NIL deal right now, that's 3 years of salary of a second-round pick. And that's if he went in the second round. Chances are, the money, he made the right decision going back to school. Dante Moore is going to make a bunch of money and probably not in the best spot to get drafted by the Jets anyway. May want to go for a national championship. So, I don't know. I didn't want the Jets to go Dante Moore anyway, so I'm actually kind of happy he went back. What's the ideal trade scenario for the Cardinals to move up from number 16? I think it would be with the 49ers. Now that hold on, let me get my big board up real quick. So the Rams traded out with the Chiefs at 29. I think the Jets' best option to move back into the first would be 30 with Denver. I thought the Cardinals would have had their chance to move up with the Rams at 29. Now it's probably the 49ers at 27 is probably their best shot to move up into the first, unless the 49ers don't want to trade down. I don't know if we have connections to any of these other teams. I mean, I guess you could always call, and if you're offering the best trade compensation, then people will do it either way. But I think Cardinals up to 27 would be my assumption as their trade up potential. All right, let's do this. We're going to do call-ins. Let's see if I set this up right. Philly Noodles in there. I see Cameron in there too. And I see Carson. All right. Charles, I see you in there. I'm just not going to answer your call yet because I got the other three guys waiting in line. We're going to try and do some lightning round stuff. So let's see if I can do this the correct way. It's been a minute to do this. Philly Nudes. How you doing?
What's going on, man? How are you? How you doing,
Hanging
man?
in there. How you feeling about free agency so far?
I think it's been good. I think just overall, Mooj has been thinking thoughtfully. They're not just putting together a slop, and they brought veteran presence. The safeties and corners room has got a leader veteran. Linebacker crew is going to have the same. Defensive lines already had it with Phillips. I think he really covered all three bases that way. Offense, we're just going to see what happens, what draws up. I think BTJ is he's an option for a trade. I'd rather not give a second, but it is what it is at the point if they do.
Not having a third really hurts us.
Yeah. I was going to say, so I could see a scenario where, like you were mentioning, obviously, if they move out of 2, they move out of 33, keep 44, and, get a third. Then they have, some play right there. Maybe all this rumors swirl with BTJ all the way up until draft night. We know that happens a lot where guys are dealt at draft night. Another thing that I could see is, let's say, something to me with 𝐀𝐟𝐼𝐥𝐢. Obviously, I think as Jets fans, we can accept that for sure, him being taken. If we don't have any trade and we don't get a third rounder and we can't get him at that point, what do you feel about 𝐂𝐡𝐚𝐭? I feel like he had a decent combine throwing the ball, and I think he's a guy that Jets fans, if we could pick him, late, it's not a terrible pick.
Yeah, to me, Nussmeier and Klubnik, like if either one of those guys was there, they're both considered and I'll throw 𝐂𝐟𝐼𝐥 in the same conversation. All three of those guys were considered like top 10 potential draft picks this time last year for this year's draft class. So to see them all fall into like the day 2, early day 3 conversation, I'm all right with it. I think all three guys have high upside level to be backups. 𝐂𝐟𝐼𝐥 probably has the crazy high potential to be a starter, where maybe we've lost a little bit of the excitement of Nussmeier. Maybe the injury held him back a little bit more. Honestly, I did not watch enough of Klubnik this year to get a good feeling on him. So I'm just kind of talking off the cuff and like where he was ranked last year more than anything on this. Who do you think we end up with quarterback for week 1?
It's either Wentz or Geno. And I'll say my sneaky signing I wish they would do is Keaton Mitchell. They let him shake out of Baltimore, so yeah.
Interesting. Brother, thank you so much for the call. You've been ejected from the cockpit. Philly Noodles out the door. I've got Cameron, then Carson, then Charles on the line. Let's go over to Cameron. What's up, Cameron?
It's been forever and a day. Jesus.
Seriously.
How you been?
A long time. I'm hanging in there. Been busy, having Dom on and stuff, just talking. I want to hear from you.
Yeah,
How do you feel about
I've
free
watched.
agency
It's
so
good.
far? How you feeling about free agency so far? Who's a quarterback going to be?
Quarterback. Honestly, I would take a stopgap at this point. I would honestly take Cousins. You want to know the truth? A 1 year, next year's quarterback class being what it is. If the roster tanks for some reason, fine. Take a first round guy next year. There's going to be enough big names out there. I was surprised and honestly impressed by what Muji did to start the day. The trade for Fitzpatrick, we know he can play. He's getting a little older, but he can play. He's a solid guy. I thought bringing back Davis, linebacker, smart, veteran, good on the field, good off the field. I feel like he's got a good vision of the defense. I feel like they're building a somewhat version of what Glenn had in Detroit. And I'm willing to just ride it out. I would go with a veteran quarterback and just kind of let the offense do what it does and see if the defense can do enough.
What are you thinking at 2 and 16 and potentially 33 and 44? Like, how do you want our draft to go based on what we've seen?
I'd go pass rusher from Texas A&M. I like him a lot. Really heavy hands, good at getting around the corner, and a true pass
Texas
rusher.
Tech,
That's what he did.
Bailey.
Yeah. Sorry, Texas Tech. Yeah. I like him. He was good at Stanford, and and he's been a pass rusher his entire career, so that's great. And then at 16, honestly, depends on who's there. I might even go something like Lemon or someone like that. Pair him alongside Wilson and give yourself 2 really solid receivers.
And then any maybe positional group, not necessarily a player, but day 2, picks 33 and 44. Any vibe on what you'd like to see them
I
do?
would say offensive line. This is a big offensive line draft, and I don't think it hurts to stack up because we've seen the injuries. So why not add another guy or two who, if they're developing the background, great.
I love it. Cameron, any last words before I eject you?
Have a good night, buddy. See you soon.
Take it easy, brother. Boom! Cameron's been ejected from the cockpit. Always a good time talking with you. I got Carson, then Charles, then Timothy on the line. Let's go over to Carson. Carson, how you doing, brother?
What's happening, brother? It's been a little while.
I know it has been. Talk to me. How you feeling about free agency so far, and what do you want to do in the draft?
I think you were spot on. I think a B to a B plus is kind of the right spot for where this free agency class is. I think the front office put a major emphasis on getting veteran leadership and stopping the run. When you looked at Glenn's time in Detroit, his front was predicated on stopping the run. That's, but moving forward, I think in terms of the draft, it's kind of obvious, I think, really. I think 𝐼𝐸 is pretty locked, set in stone. They purposefully let the outside linebacker position vacant. Now, barring they do anything tomorrow, I think Reese is probably the guy. And then, dude, Sonny Styles a freak, man. Guy's a monster. He's Fred Warner. Like, you want an all-pro. You want a guy who doesn't miss tackles. You want a leader. Who better to learn under Demario Davis than Sonny Styles? It's just like, doesn't it feel like a few years ago when Luke Kuechly got drafted by the Carolina Panthers high in the first round out of BC, and who was there? Thomas Davis, veteran leader in that middle linebacking core. Kind of feels like that, doesn't it? He's a beast, man.
I would do that in a heartbeat. Like, if you told me you could draft Kuechly at whatever draft pick it would be early on, like, you're guaranteeing yourself like a stud. Like, the thing with Reese that scares me is, like, I like him, but is he transitioning to like the value? Like, are you going? Or he's like, oh, we're not taking Styles because the positional value. Like,
So here's my thing, real quick. I think it's between Styles and Reese. I think Bailey's completely out with the edge signings today. I think that if we go Reese, it wouldn't. I don't think it surprised anybody. I think Styles is obviously a fan favorite amongst a lot of people. And then for quarterback, unfortunately, I think it's going to be Geno Smith. Let's get excited. But I really wanted Brissett. That was my guy. It seems like he's not going to leave Arizona because they're smart. But at 16, obviously Reese and Styles are 2. But at 16, if they don't address guard tomorrow, I figure they go a wide receiver if they don't get BTJ. I'm assuming Lemon, Tate, or Tyson at 16. And then second round picks, it's kind of an open board. But I think you need a guard if you don't address it tomorrow. 100%. Love you, Ryan. I appreciate you, brother.
Carson, get the hell out of here. You've been ejected from the cockpit. Always a pleasure to talk to you, dude. All right, we got Charles, then Timothy up. Charles, how you doing, dude?
I'm doing great, Ryan. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm hanging in there. I'm kind of excited with what our Jets are doing. It's nothing overly crazy, but I will take it.
I agree. I'm glad they brought back Davis. He's been one of my favorite Jets during the Rex Ryan regime. I think you could argue he's a borderline Hall of Famer or maybe even a Hall of Fame type player. He's definitely a Hall of Fame caliber person. He's a class act on and off the field. Leonard Williams owed a lot of his success and growth as a player in person to Demario Davis. He's definitely a really good player. As for who I would like in next free agent, obviously we got to get a quarterback. I would love Joe Flacco to come back. I know a lot of people say he's a statue, but hey, when he was with the Jets, he didn't really have that great of an offensive line. So if we solidify the offensive line, he could be fine. Look, he played very well for Cincinnati. And, he did play well for Cleveland back in 2023 and when he led them to the playoffs. So,
I mean, honestly, I like Flacco. I would rather Flacco as a veteran leader than Geno Smith. I think Geno leads
he's more mature,
into
more
that
classy.
first overall pick than Flacco would.
I agree. Flacco's more classy, more mature, and more productive. He's had more success than Geno Smith has, without question. Who would I like it too? Personally, I would at this point, considering how Breece Hall is acting very immaturely on social media, I would trade him and a couple, let's say, a third or fourth round picks for Brian Thomas Jr. And I know Styles is your man. Okay, we all have our mans in the draft.
Who's your man in the draft?
I would say Jeremiah Love. He's probably been the fun. Jeremiah Love is probably the one college football player I've enjoyed watching the most since Mohamed Sanu when he was in Rutgers in 2011. And
Love would be a lot of fun, but man, to take him at 2 after trading Breece for like a late, I don't know, that would leave me like a little bit of a sour taste in my mouth. But it's hard to argue with primo offensive talent.
And I would take if Vega IO is available at 16, I'm taking that son bitch.
Oh man, Charles going heavy offense, dude. Thank you so much. Can't wait to see you at the draft party. You're out of here, Charles. Coming out for the draft party. Very, very excited to hang out with Charles on draft night. I got Timothy, then Force of Phil. Let's go over to Timothy. How you doing, dude?
I'm good. How are you?
Dude, how you feeling about free agency so far? Who's going to be our quarterback week 1, and what do you think you do in the draft?
I think as far as free agency goes, it's nothing out of the normal. I mean, we all kind of expected this. Quarterback, honestly, I don't really have a preference. I'm kind of in the same mindset as you were last year. I just want to see as much fun as possible.
Oh man, dude, if I could just go through like a Sunday and not feel like our season is cooked at like the beginning part of October, like I don't care if it's like Fields running around and like we're having fun with it. Like this year with Geno Smith, like it's gonna be very hard for me to like have fun watching games, I think.
Yeah, honestly, I kind of want, like, as selfish as it is to say, I kind of just want to see the Jets pick Love at 2 and then Simpson at 16 just to see how fun that would be. Like, obviously, I know it wouldn't be great for, like, future because God knows if they're going to pan out or not, but
who knows? That would be, I mean, it'd be ballsy, right? That's one way to revamp your offense very fast. Select, a guy that Connor Rogers had at number 2 overall in Simpson, and then everyone considers Love one of the top 1 or 2 players in this draft.
yeah, I mean, I feel like number 16's got to be either wide receiver or lineman, but I also have been kind of thinking about us potentially trading for A.J. Brown with number 16.
I really like A.J. Brown. I don't want to make that trade because the value of the contract. Like, to me, I'd rather go cheaper on receiver contractually. I don't care which draft pick. Like, if you wanted to tell me Tate at 2 or, whatever at 2, and then, I'd rather go that route than go high-priced receiver to pair up with our other high-priced receiver. I'd like to spread those assets out a little bit. That's the only reason I wouldn't go A.J. Brown. I think he's going to end up in New England with the Patriots. I think they'll ultimately, I don't know if they offered a first and a third. Maybe they'll have to make it a first and a second or something along those lines, but I don't know. Week 1 starting quarterback, who we got?
Personally, my favorite would be probably Wentz, just because he has the connection with Frank Reich.
Maybe some upside, a little bit of injury from last year. I don't know. I'd rather roll the dice on Wentz than Geno. Like, I watched a few games of Geno last year just because my buddy's a big Raider fan. I have another Raider fan that's at work with me, and he's like, dude, Geno is washed. And I like genuinely trust this dude's football acumen. So like, I'm on board with you. Would much rather Wentz than Geno. Timothy, thank you so much for the call. You've been ejected from the cockpit. Oh, man. I love the chicken. I love the chicken. Force of Phil coming at you. How you doing, Force of Phil?
Let's see. Can you hear me?
I got you loud and clear.
Okay, great. All right. So, yeah, long time. Because I remember talking to you after one of our drafts. I want to say 2 years ago, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But anywho, yeah, when it comes to like the draft and stuff like that going ahead, I'm strongly in the David Bailey camp.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, because like I feel like I want a proven guy. I want a proven guy, and you know I can understand why everybody wants Reese, but you know for me, I just don't want to
take the gamble.
No gambles here. Just take what you know.
I can understand that. What do you think at 16?
Yeah, so 16, I would say, depending on how things shake out with wide receiver, with free agency or trades, because I understand Brian Thomas Jr. were in the mix for that. You know, not holding my breath on that. So if for some reason we miss out on that, then maybe wide receiver there, and then get your guard at around 33 or trade up from 33, depending on how that falls.
Yeah, if Pregnon's kind of hanging around there.
Yeah. But yeah, obviously, like everybody else, I like the Penn State kid, basically.
What do you think about quarterback going into next year? Like, who do you think is our guy starting week 1?
That's a good question. I'm kind of all around and up in the air. Like I'm like everybody else. I kind of almost don't really care at this point. I'm more like, just, you know, as long as everything stays on schedule, I'll be happy. And
my buddies at work, like, there's 2 other Jet fans in my office, and the 3 of us are going back and forth. Like, no joke, every day we've got a new flavor of the week quarterback. We got a new flavor of the week defensive player that we're drafting at like 2 and 16. We're like, damn, like, who are we doing? Like, I really don't like have like a concrete understanding of what we're doing. It feels like everything's going towards Geno Smith, which like doesn't make me feel great. But I don't know. If it leads us to number 1 overall in Arch, maybe that's a good thing.
Exactly. And I'm more optimistic and buying into what Gary's saying about Arch than most.
I agree.
And I feel like worst case scenario, hey, if things don't work out that way organically or otherwise, hey, it's another swing at Dante Moore technically.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of quarterbacks that could be coming out next year. I mean, it's tough because this year we thought it would be a good quarterback draft based on like a year ago's analysis. Next year could totally be the same thing. But you got Arch, you got Dante Moore, you got Ayama, you've got Darian Mensah from Duke going to Miami now. There's the kid from USC. There's the kid from Georgia. Like there's enough players out there that I would feel comfortable passing on quarterback high this year to give ourselves a shot at it next year. Like if Geno's our quarterback, like I really think we're going to have a top 5 pick. Like I think so too. Pretty strongly.
And if it's okay before I go, I would like to say who my preference is at wide receiver in the draft.
Ooh, yeah. Who you got?
Strongly preferring Denzel Boston out of Washington.
Ooh, okay.
Because
you like the size?
Yes, it's really it's about the size, and I wouldn't hate Mekhi Lemon, but I feel like we need more size versatility than Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson's fantastic and all that stuff, but we also need someone like, you know, the Brandon Marshall big body guy.
Yes. I want someone you just lobbing the ball up to. You're 5 yards out from the end zone, or you got to throw a Hail Mary or whatever. Just lob it up and just let the dude use his catch radius. Like we haven't had that in a minute. So like, I don't know, I guess we were hoping Lazard was going to be that with the size, and he just never really kind of turned into it. But I don't hate that move. I don't know if I want to go Boston at 16. Would that be your choice at 16 if, like, you know, let's say the top 3 receivers are gone, or is there another position you might?
Pretty much. I would say, depending on who's available at 16 at wide receiver, if let's say Tate's gone, then it's like, and it's just like Lemon, Boston, and someone else, whatever. I'll take Boston.
All right.
Done. I'm taking him then. Otherwise, probably Tate would be probably the preferable guy.
I love it.
At
Phil,
16.
thank you so much for calling in. You've been ejected from the cockpit. Brother, it's been a lot of fun. You guys didn't get to see it, but he had like a very cool fall away that he was doing in his video camera behind the scenes. Oh man, I absolutely love it. I love doing the call-ins. I love talking ball. I love getting fired up at the chat and everything. Let's do this. I'll go 15 minutes. We'll talk to the chat the rest of the way out here. So let me rotate this around. And let's just go through the chat and just kind of see what we got going on in here. Moore could lose his lottery if he has a bad year like Nussmeier, Allar, and Mateer. Yeah, I mean, Mateer's also coming out next year, which is exciting because, like, I really like John Mateer. I'm hoping he balls out. I don't think it would be the direction we'd go. Like, I don't know if he'll play himself into the first round pick conversation. I think he was probably considered like a third or fourth round pick this year because of the down year. But man, that dude's a baller. I'm going to root for him, wherever he ends up next year. AG has to win more than 7 games to keep his job and have a defense humming, no excuses. Yeah, and I don't think we're on pace for 7 wins. That would surprise me. If we're at I think Vegas had us at a 5.5 win-loss prior to free agency. I don't think that's going to change much. I would take the under on 5.5 wins as we currently stand because I have a hard time looking at the rest of the league and saying, okay, these teams are definitely worse than the Jets. I think the Raiders with a new quarterback are probably going to be looking better. I think the Browns, I think it's going to be the Jets, Browns, Cardinals, and I was going to say Finns, but if Willis is the truth, then, they're going to be playing well. I think it's going to wind up being like a team with an injury or someone just falling off a cliff quarterback-wise that maybe we weren't expecting winds up near the top with us. Trade Breece for a third. Get Love to pair with a stud quarterback in 27 like Arch and Ione at 16. I mean, Love would be a lot of fun. It really would. I haven't really considered him at 2. I just sort of assumed we wouldn't go that direction. I do think he's a special running back. Draft positional value or draft best overall player, says Ryan Murphy. It's kind of a blending of both, but since this isn't a super strong draft outside of Mendoza, you kind of can get away with maybe not going the positional value route. Like, to me, Styles and Love are the 2 best players in this draft. If the Jets made the choice of taking either one of those players, I feel confident saying we got a very, very good player that could be a good player for a long time. Love, obviously, with a shorter shelf life, higher volatility as far as injuries could potentially be concerned, but man, a home run threat every time he touches the ball. And you're resetting the clock on the running back position for 5 years. I don't really think Braylon Allen is the guy to be here long-term right now. He's coming off the injury, so we got to see what he has. Breece, I think, will ultimately get traded at some point. So running back could be a need. I was kind of hoping to push that off till next year and maybe combine running back and quarterback in the same draft. But it's hard to argue that way, I guess. I really think it's going to be Reese at number 2. And it's just the upside of the edge rusher potential. I think how good he is from a run stopping perspective is highly valuable as well. So I don't know. It's a marriage of both. I think obviously if you could go the non-bust high floor route, like that's probably the direction you go on a more consistent basis. But when you're picking in the top 5, you kind of go with the boom perspective. Like if they think Reese could be Myles Garrett, then you take Reese. I think Sonny Styles is Ray Lewis. If they don't feel that way, then obviously you don't take him because of how high up that is. But man, I really think Styles is going to be something special. Lou, Love is the pick. It's happening. I still feel like I would be surprised with Love happening. I don't know. When did Detroit... They took Gibbs at 12 or 14? It was like just before us. 13 maybe. Did Denver ever take a running back high with Muji there? Man, I don't know. I struggle to see Love being the pick. I really do. I hope Minkah feels the same way about the Dolphins as we do. I think he will. That's kind of why I wouldn't have minded us taking a swing at Tua, but that seems to not have been in the cards at all, I guess. Titans getting Styles or Reese is going to kill me. They should have to draft O-line. Yeah, like I don't want to see them with either one of those players, to be perfectly honest. And I don't know. Bailey, I get why people like Bailey. I don't see it the same way. And it's maybe I'm just not seeing it the correct way. I don't see Bailey as like the guy at number 2. Whatever happened with Chubb? Talking about Bradley Chubb, I think he's just not signed yet. Julian Sayin talking about quarterbacks for next year. That's a possibility. I'm not as high on Saiyan. I like being able to say Super Saiyan, but as of right now, not crazy high on Saiyan. I think he might be a product of an elite Ohio State team more than he is elevating that team. Paul says, I think Boston is slipping out of the first round. Maybe with other guys like combines and stuff, maybe he's not thought of as highly. He was wide receiver 4 for like a long time. You like Mateer also. Mateer had a down year this year, but man, he was exciting the years prior to that. So I kind of hope he bounces back. I don't think he's going to play himself into the conversation for a top pick next year, though. Furiyuma says 6 wins, but looking like a competent team, and losses are within 1 possession is maybe that's enough for Glenn to stay. If the team clearly looks like it took a step forward and we're losing because of like either rookie mistakes or like wildly like crazy things happen to have the other team win, then maybe you could float that idea. It depends how Glenn's eyeball test works from the coaching perspective. I thought he made a lot of questionable decisions last year, and I think he will have to overcome that to earn a 3rd year. Is Minkah going to play the star/slot? I don't think he's going to play in the slot. I think they're going to deploy him as a safety further back, I would hope. I would hope there's some degree of like ball hawkishness, like he did a little bit more in Pittsburgh. He played near the line of scrimmage this past year down in Miami. So maybe because Duker was down in Miami, maybe that's where they gravitate towards, and Brownlee's not going to be playing the slot like we all kind of thought. But I don't want to see that. I'm a little hesitant to go wide receiver. I just have a very strong feeling Jeremiah Smith is falling into our lap next year somehow. Yeah, there's a little bit of me that does feel that way. I think if you go wide receiver in the first this year, and if you have a really bad year next year, if there's a situation where Jeremiah Love is sitting there after you've made your quarterback selection, like let's say in some world, the Jets get the number 1 pick and then a top 5 pick, because I think that's where Jeremiah Love's going to go. He's going to go somewhere in the top 5. Then I think you start having a conversation of what you could get for Garrett Wilson at that point. I don't think you're going to invest, like, let's say, in Tyson or Tate or Lemon this year and then go Jeremiah Smith and also keep Garrett under contract. We'll see. I struggle with the wide receiver thing. Next year's wide receiver class is supposed to be like historical. So I do understand that, which is probably why I fall a little bit more on the 2nd round wide receiver, because I think you could go 2nd round wide receiver and top end wide receiver next year, at least for a year or 2 before you make a decision on what you want to do long term. Would you mind our Jets adding a quarterback like Tyler Huntley, presumably as a backup? Well, Huntley just re-signed with the with the Ravens, so he's out. But as far as like a quarterback like Tyler Huntley to be the backup, like let's say Geno comes in as the starter, then maybe like a Levis or something like that also as a backup. Maybe an Andy Dalton. I want someone that's got like a high upside where if you do feel like you want to draft a quarterback, you're not just throwing the kid into the fire. I really do not want to see. I really do not want to see the Jets get Geno. I really don't. Beefy says, I would still draft another wide receiver in the first round next year. So he's just loading up on offensive weapons. Who would you rather have, Ray Lewis or Derek Thomas? Oh, God, Lewis. Lewis is just such a beast. I told you, Ryan, we're getting the top 3 picks in 27. Imagine that. If the Jets go 1, 2, 3 next year, they're just like, yeah, we're just going to revamp our team. Quarterback, wide receiver, running back, or quarterback, wide receiver, edge rusher. Just load it up. Why the hell not? Why do you think the Jags are shopping Brian Thomas Jr.? Not a fit for the coaching staff. I mean, it might not be a fit for the coaching staff. I do question if Liam Cohen can't make it work from like an offensive perspective. Do I really think our staff is going to do that? I don't know. It depends on what you grade Brian Thomas Jr. at comparatively to like pick 33 or pick 44 at wide receiver, or the value of one of those picks at wide receiver plus maybe a guard at 16 as opposed to going receiver at 16. I don't know. I like Brian Thomas Jr. I thought he was good coming out of LSU. So if you give up 44 for him, I would do it. I think that's an all right move. Yeah, next year's wide receiver class is better than the Neighbors Harrison Odunze draft. Yeah, my understanding is it's closer to like the Mike Evans, Odell, Cooks, like that year draft. Was that the Sammy Watkins draft too? That was just a beast of a draft. Sean says, I like McAllister. I like Fitzpatrick and Demario Davis. I would rather have paid a real starter over 3 rotational pieces. Just my opinion. I hope whoever we get, I hope they pan out and just kind of wanted day ones. I think for me, the Asai pickup, the Kingsley pickup, and the Onyemata pickup are all like, like to me, like I'm not crazy high on him. I thought Asai was definitely an overpay for. I'll be honest, I haven't watched him at all, so it's been going off his PFF, going off what people have been saying, and like, is he just a more expensive like Michael Clemens? Like, I don't know. I think our free agency is more about raising the floor of this team than it is about elevating the top end of this team. I think it's if you can get rid of some of the scrubs on the roster and just make it so that way you're not as far of a drop off with injuries, or you know your B team players that are coming in rotation are much higher than our B team from last year. I think that is all right. Really think the Jets are going to sign Kyler. In my opinion, he's probably the best quarterback on the market. I think he's the most talented quarterback on the market. I don't know if his personality fits with what AG wants. He also kind of made fun of Kyler in a video when he was back in Detroit. So I don't see Kyler coming here, but I do think he's the best quarterback you could get. We doing exactly what I wanted: get defense in free agency and draft offense. I still don't know if we're drafting offense. Like, I can totally see a situation where we go into the draft and it's Reese at 2. I mean, maybe you go guard at 16. Like that's kind of gravitating a little bit more towards that direction now. I've always felt guard was a top 2 round need anyway. I just didn't want to spend a first on one. Receiver could definitely be done. in the top 2 rounds as it currently stands. And then I'd probably throw safety in that discussion too. I would go probably 50-50 on the drafting of offense and defense. But if the Jets want to say like, hey, we're going Love at 2, we're going Ty Simpson at 16, we're going Pregnon at 33, and we're going, I don't know, wide receiver at 44, or you're trading for Brian Thomas Jr. with 44. Like, holy smokes, like that's nuts. That would be a total overhaul of this team. Do you think we draft any quarterback this year? Says Michael. I do. I think Simpson's in play at 16. As much as we've kind of not been connected and beat reporters have said, I don't think the Jets are going to go that direction, I think Simpson's definitely in play and part of the discussion. Outside of that, I think it's 𝐂𝐼𝐼𝐷. I think it's Nussmeier, Taylon Green. I think we will draft a quarterback. I'm kind of hoping it's day 3. High upside, cat and guy. All right, boys and girls, I am like right at the 2-hour mark, so I'm going to wrap this up here to circle back around, give you my closing thoughts on free agency. Minkah Fitzpatrick, good deal. Love the trade, like the contract even more. 3 years, $40 million, way better than the 1 year, $15.6 he had left on his contract. Solves at least one of the safety positions for a year or 2, possibly 3. Joseph Asai, I felt like that was an overpay for a Michael Clemens replacement. Demario Davis, leadership. Totally fine with that. A little bit more, and surprised we didn't go Anzalone for the amount of money, but I like Demario Davis, obviously, because we know him from his time here. Kingsley and David, meh. Rotational guys. Good locker room guys is what I've heard. Andrew Beck coming back as fullback. It's fine. Not sure he's necessarily on the roster week 1. And then Belton at safety, 1 year, $4 to $6 million. I think is a rotational piece, might push more to potentially start. Gives you the ability to maybe get around the receiver, get around the ball to get some interceptions and things of that nature. I don't foresee any of these positions being a hurdle for us adding talent at any of these positions. So like if the Jets want to go linebacker or D-end or safety or D-tackle at any point in this draft, that's going to supersede any of these players. Now, I will say this, I'll say it again, I do think that this team elevated its floor today. I would give us a grade of a B as far as our day 1 free agency. And it's not that I think the players themselves are considered a B. I think based on the strategy I wanted to see them deploy, this is how I wanted to see them deploy it. We'll see what happens with guard. We'll see what happens with quarterback. I think those are 2 very much up in the air pieces. I don't really want to see Geno Smith. I have no idea where we're going with guard. That could wind up being a big need this time come draft time. But boys and girls, it's been a lot of fun hanging out with you guys. Get your ticket to the Talking Jets draft party. Myself, O'Leary, Green Bean, going to be partying in Hoboken this year. We're right next to the PATH train. We're like 23 steps off the PATH train. There's parking garages all the way around. $25 gets you your ticket into the building. You get your first drink free. You get a raffle ticket for our raffles and $5 well drinks, $5 draft beers, $5 house wines, 50% off apps all night long. We've got our crowd cam going. We're going to be having an absolute blast of a time. So make sure you come out and hang out with us. TalkingJets.com can get you a ticket. Head over. I think I have the link in the description down below. But if not, just type it in the URL. TalkingJets.com. Boys and girls, it's been a lot of fun hanging out with you. This is Jets Talk signing off. JETS.